Hello, and thank you for joining me. So today we're going to learn how to plot an interactive histogram in Pandas. And we're going to use a backdoor option to allow Pandas plotting to be based on the Plotly or to use the Plotly engine. So we can very quickly access the interactivity and kind of lots of the cool little functionality that is available in Plotly for the histogram. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to import, this is just a penguins data set, different islands, different species, then the gender, then for numeric columns. So it's a good data set, especially for distributions. Okay. So here's the way that we're going to be able to use this. If we don't run this one right here and we just run our pandas plot kind equals hist, we'll see we get regular pandas plotting a histogram. Regular histogram. It's not the most beautiful. That's the downside about pandas. It's so super easy, super not beautiful. If we set this backdoor option right here, so the back end option. So it's option pd.options.plotting.backend plotly equals to a string plotly. Okay, and that will just use a different engine to generate the plots, right? So pandas is super flexible, super fast and easy, and we can now access the super quick and nimble pandas plotting engine with the features of Plotly. There's still a little bit extra coding if we want it to look nice, but like there always is, really, truthfully. A little bit different style though. Okay, so what I like to do is, as you notice, this is really big. It's this way, just my whole screen stuff. I don't like it so big. So I almost always set a width and a height in advance, usually so that all my plots will call this height and width argument. Just kind of set it in advance, like hyperparameters for my plot. And here, market margin in a dictionary. So top, left, right, bottom, kind of white space on the side. You see there's quite a bit white space on some sides, and it's just to control it, make it look a little bit cleaner and neater. Okay, so I'm doing something else. So I'm setting that. I'm also setting this title X and title Y. You'll see if I don't have this. Usually it just really goes right over to the left side right there. So it's not truthfully the nicest in my opinion. So 95% of the top and then 5% to the left, or 0.5% left and right. So just centering it instead of being over here on the left side. Depending on what you want some, I guess these bars can kind of get in the way, so you might want to be a little bit more, maybe a little bit more space at the top as well, just to give this. But you see, you don't see them all the time as well, right? So but it's up to you. But now you can control, this is how you would control where the title appears in Plotly. So we're just doing this. We're first calling df.plot.hist on a column right here. So we're a little bit different than we would if we were doing a true pandas plot, a default setting. And then we're giving a height and width to the pandas plotting option, which is something for Plotly. So it's going to pass this argument to the Plotly engine, and we'll set this. Okay, and then we send this to fig dot update underscore layout, give the margin dictionary, and then title, and then setting our arguments right here. So a little bit, it's quite different than Matplotlib style of changing things. So and is normally based on that. Here it's based on something different. It's a little bit different. It's not super complicated though. If we want to control the color, the hue argument, we can do that in Plotly as well. So with the Plotly settings, we call in color, not hue. So we're going to give it to the title because we're calling on the DataFrame. DataFrame.plot.hist. The X column is this, height and width, and then my color is the category that I like to change my color by. So now you can see it's kind of nice because now you can inspect here. Oh, I see. Okay, there's only one there. It's small. I didn't know it was only one. Now I know it's one, and that's two. Okay, and there's 30 here and 13 in this row. So 13 up here and only one down here. It's just like the nice flexibility. You get to see one and one. Okay, it's nice. Two and three. Okay, and what's this two and one over here? It allows you to inspect in a little bit more detail than you would just not be able to, and really not too much more work than the pandas plotting engine. A little bit more, but not so much. And then here, if we want to do, this is something that we can do extra above Matplotlib, or sorry, pandas plot normally, or even Seaborn. We can call the pattern shape. So we're going to change not just the color, but the shape. So we're changing the color by the island, so it's still the island, but we can also change the shape now by the sex, by the male, the gender. So here you can see on this one right here that are this size, the females don't really make up very much. Only one female is big, and only six, and then it's kind of just interesting. Now you can learn a lot more about this data set than you would be able to just Just with even Seaborn, it's truthfully this is quite detailed that you can access. You want to be specific because it is a little bit too much sometimes. So you got to be careful. The pattern is a little bit tricky to get right. Another cool feature that we can do is we can actually, so not using the pattern argument here, we can change the y-axis to be another feature. So it's going to bin it by this x, right? So we can put it into bins. This 1, 2, 3, 4 bin, and then it's going to go y flipper is the y now. And it's going to take the average of that column. So it's interesting that they're really highly related, I would say. There's really too much of a surprise here. And I looked at all the features and they do really seem to be related here, but you'd be able to now build this bin right here with the average of another column. So there could be some really interesting exploratory analysis you do with that. I would say it's tricky to get correct though. As you can see, it kind of looks good and you can try and change the columns and it doesn't make a huge difference. Okay, and one last thing, I think this is an amazing feature. This is one of my favorite features. It's really just practical in how you use it. So here what we're going to do is do the same thing. What we're going to do is call a plotly argument. So df.plot.hist. And notice we're not doing a plot and then we're calling kind equals hist. We need to use the actual function here, not the dot plot function, the hist function, to allow for this flexibility. Okay, so here what we're going to do is call marginal equals box, and that allows us to get the box plot. And what else is the box plot in Plotly automatically highlights what the quartile range is. So if you're looking at trimming outliers, you just now have quick access. Oh, now it's 47 and 42, 39.1 and 49.9. It's literally faster to do it this way. So if I ever want to do outlier inspection, or maybe I'm gonna really want to do it kind of in the classical way in terms of where I'm truncating my outliers, I'll use this to now I can say, so there's my box, my upper is 55.9. I'm going to truncate my outlier down to that level, and I'll be happy with that. Okay? So it gives a lot of flexibility in what. Okay? So and that's it. There's a little bit more functionality. These are the main things that I would use this for. It does not have all of the functionality that Plotly does, but it gets us quite for our data analysis. It can be very, very helpful. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time.